Alright, let's go. Part 100 and part 3 of Shadow and Fortune.
Shadow and
Good
Fortune.
times.
Chapter 3.
Let's go. Nice. It's also a shorter video.
Paralyzing terror rippled through Misfortune's company.
Where is it? Stop it. What is this? Who asks you? Let's go. Hecarim is Viego's left-hand man. Yeah, I can see that.
Shadow of War.
Shadow of War.
His name was once Hecarim, but no one
Oh,
knew
there you
if that
go,
was
yeah.
true or some ancient tale-teller's invention.
There you go. It is
Only
Hecarim.
fools dared recite his dark legend around the hearth fire.
Which is kind of funny because the previous harrowing story, it said how Hecarim and Thresh are actually not in the Shadow Isles. But obviously they changed that. It's good to not be canon. They said like Hecarim was hunting down between the Demacia and Noxus, who was just running back and forth, just killing shit. So I guess they changed it with time.
Even then, only after enough rum to sink a Noxian war bark. As the Shadow of War emerged further from the mist, Misfortune saw he was no mere horseman. Cold dread settled upon her like a shroud at the sight of the monstrous creature. Perhaps Hecarim had once been a knight, man and horse separate entities.
Yeah,
But
now
rider
it's the same.
and mount were now one, a single, towering behemoth whose only purpose was destruction. "They're all around us," said a voice. Misfortune ripped.
That must be an updated version of Callisto. Viego's left-hand man. And Hecarim's left hand, and Callisto's the right-hand man. Till she was betrayed. Yeah, I did the story of Callisto. It was so confusing, but it didn't really talk about those parts. It might have been updated later. Or at least maybe this guy who's narrating did not say who she was. Because I believe back then you didn't know about Viego. So it could have been updated to closer towards the Viego part.
Wrist looking away from the armored sentries.
We'll get there, I hope.
Host of ghostly knights, their outlines lambent
Let's see.
with radiance. Their leveled lances and blue swords of dark radiance. Hecarim swept out a hooked and terrible glaive, its killing edge erupting with green fire. "You know any secret ways out of here?" asked Raffen. "No," said Misfortune. "I want to fight that bastard." "You want to fight the Shadow of War?" Before Misfortune could answer, a hooded...
Yeah, the lore here doesn't go up to Viego. Oh, okay, so yes, after Viego came out, they updated the lore. Okay, makes sense, yeah. Okay. Because yeah, right now he doesn't know about Viego at this point in time in 2015. Viego is like what, 2020-ish release, right?
Figure leapt from the rooftop of a grain store and dropped into the square. He landed gracefully, a storm coat of worn leather splayed behind him. He carried 2 pistols, but they were like no weapons Misfortune had ever seen on her mother's gun table. Bronzed metalwork braced around hung to what looked like carved stone.
January 2021 was Viego release. But he existed... The character existed since 2012.
Light filled the square as he loosed searing bolts from each pistol in a fusillade that put the destruction of the Deadpool to shame. The man turned in a tight spiral, marking targets and picking them off with whip-fast motion. The mist burned where his bolts struck, and the ghostly wraiths screeched as they were consumed. The mist withdrew from Cutpurse Square, taking Hecarim and the Death Knights with it. Something told Misfortune this was but a temporary respite. The man holstered his pistols and turned to look at Misfortune, throwing back his hood to reveal darkly handsome features with haunted eyes. "The thing about shadows," he said, "bring enough light, and they disappear." Olaf was not happy with this doom. He hoped men would speak of his epic battle with the Krakenworm, not this ignoble fall to his death. He hoped someone might have seen him charge the sea beast. He prayed at least one observer had seen him lifted high into the air by its ghostly tentacle, then fled before seeing him hurled away like an unworthy man. Olaf crashed down through the roof of the building.
Bro, everyone's fighting the shadows, meanwhile Olaf is fighting the bearded lady. It's like, fuck it. A fight is a fight.
To the side of the cliff. Maybe it was a ship's hull. He fell too fast to make it out. Crashing timbers and earthenware tumbled with him in his headlong plunge through the building. He glimpsed astonished. Shouting faces flashed past him. Olaf smashed through a floor. A support beam drove the wind from him as he tumbled down Bilgewater's cliffs. He bounced from an outcrop of rock and went headfirst.
The bearded lady's like, bro, stop. I'm not here to fight you. I'm trying to stop the shadows from invading Bilgewater. He's like, no, you are target. I fight to death.
Through an open window.
Glorious death.
Through yet another floor.
Oh, God.
Angry curses followed him down. He spun onto a trailing forest of ropes and pulleys, flags and pennants. He thrashed as he fell, tangling his limbs and weapon. Fate was mocking him, wrapping him in a folded shroud of canvas sailcloth. Not like this, damn it!
Not like this.
Not like this.
Not like this.
Who are you, and where can I get a pair of guns like those? Offering her hand to the new arrival. My name is Lucian, he said, warily taking her hand. Damn glad to know you, friend, said Raffen, clapping him on the back as if they were old shipmates. Misfortune saw Raffen's familiarity made Lucian acutely uncomfortable, like he'd forgotten how to be around others.
No.
His eyes scanned the edges of the square, his fingers dancing.
Well, isn't Lucian, like, not human, kinda? Again, could be changed by now, but yeah.
The grips of his pistols. You're a welcome sight, Lucian, said Misfortune. We should move, he said. The shadow of war will return. He's right, said Raffen, with an imploring look. It's time to get inside, batten down the hatches. No! We came out to fight. Look, I get it, Sarah. We won Bilgewater and you need to fight to hold on to it, to show everyone you're better than Gangplank. Well, you've done that. We went out into the black mist and we fought the dead. That's more than he ever did. Anyone who risks looking out a window is going to know that. Hell, even the ones who ain't looking will hear about it. What more do you want? To fight for Bilgewater. There's fighting for Bilgewater, and then there's dying for Bilgewater, said Raffen. I'm all up for the first, not so much for the second. These men and women followed you down into hell, but now it's time to climb back out. Misfortune faced her company of fighters, every ragged cutthroat one of them. None of them could be trusted not to sell their own mothers for a shiny trinket, but they'd done everything and more she'd asked of them. Venturing out into the black mist was just a...
Well, he is human. Like, wasn't he and Senna, like, born out of, like, some stone or some shit? Like, some light stone? And that's also where they got their weapons. But again, this is, like, in the way original, so it's, like, it's probably not even canon. Because they also said that his guns were made in Piltover, so at this point, it's like, well, the guns weren't created with him, so, you know. But yeah, I know, like, I know he's obsessed with getting his wife back, but in the original, it was that the reason he was so obsessed with her is because they were, one part, like, they were half part of the other. Like, they were literally the other's part of the person, you know? It's like, you know how, like, the whole, like, love thing where it's like, find my missing piece or some shit? No? Fuck, man, I remember there was something with the stone. I'll look into it again after, but I remember they were, like, carved from a stone or some shit.
About the bravest thing any of them had ever done.
I'll go into that. But again, it's most likely not canon, even if it what I'm saying is true.
Their deaths for the sake of her vengeance. You're right, she said, taking a breath. We're done here. Then may fortune follow you, said Lucian, turning away and drawing his strange pistols once again. Wait, said Misfortune. Come with us. Lucian shook his head. No, there is a mist wraith I need to destroy. The one they call Thresh, the Chain Warden. I owe him a death.
Oh, no, they were always lovers. I'm saying that they were lovers that came out from the same stone. The reason they were lovers, you know, like that whole cliche of, like, love stories where it's like, she's my missing piece and stuff like that? like Senna and Lucian are literally each other's piece, you know. Found him and trained him, and they just fell in love. Okay, so that might be a different one then. Yeah, I'll check it after.
Saw the lines around Lucian's eyes deepen and recognised the expression she's worn ever since her mother's murder.
I'll find real quick.
He took someone from you, didn't he? She said. Lucian nodded slowly and said no more, but his very silence spoke volumes. This clearly isn't your first tussle with the dead, she said, but you won't survive the night if you stay out here alone. I'm guessing that might not mean much to you, but whoever this thresh took from you, they wouldn't want you to die here. Lucian's eyes flicked downwards, and Misfortune saw a silver locket just visible around his neck. Was it her imagination or a trick of the mist that made it shimmer in the moonlight? Come with us, said Misfortune. Find somewhere safe till morning, and you'll live to do it again. Safe? Where is safe in this city? Said Lucian. I think I might know a place, said Misfortune. They left Cutpurse Square and were travelling west up towards the
Why is Lucian looking for a safe place though? Isn't he hunting Thresh right now? Shouldn't he be like, yeah, you guys can keep safe, I don't give a shit, I'm looking for this motherfucker because he has my wife.
Bridge when they found the Freljord. He hung from a crooked spar like a shrouded corpse on a gibbet. Unlike most corpses, however, this one was thrashing like a landed fish. A splintered pile of debris lay scattered all around him, and Misfortune looked up to see how far he'd fallen through the cliffside dwellings. A long way was the answer, and that still alive was nothing short of a miracle. Lucian levelled his pistols, but she shook her head. No, this one's actually on the right side of the grave. Muffled cries came from within the shroud, curses that would get a man beaten to death in a host of different lands, shouted in a thick Freljordian accent. She placed the tip of her sword against the canvas and sliced downwards. Like a newborn sea calf pulled from a ruptured birth sack, a hugely bearded man spilled onto the cobbles. The reek of fish guts and offal clung to him.
Where's Samir in all of this?
He climbed unsteadily to his feet, brandishing an axe with a blade like a shard of diamond ice. Which way to the slaughter docks? He said, weaving like a drunk. He looked around, confused, his head a mass of lumps and bruises. Ordinarily, I'd tell you to follow your nose, said Misfortune, but I'd be amazed if you've any sense of smell left. I'll kill that kraken worm 10 times over if I have to, said the man. I owe it to death. Lots of that going around tonight, said Misfortune. The Freljordian named himself Olaf, a warrior of the rightful mistress of the ice, and after shaking off his concussion, declared his intention to join them until he could fight the most dangerous spirit within the Black Mist.
The Dream Team.
Lucian asked him. Of course, said Olaf, as though the very question was the height of foolishness. I seek an ending worthy of legend.
Okay, Thor.
Fortune left the madman to his dreams of death. So long as he swung that axe in the right direction, he was welcome to join them as they pushed onwards. 3 times the mist closed in on them, and each time it took an unlucky sword.
I love the way he said it. So long as he swung his axe in the right direction. That's a good way to say it.
Sides of buildings, the sound of a whetstone over rusted steel. Ranks of carrion birds poured from rooftops in anticipation of a fresh banquet by the light of the moon. Welcoming lights danced in the darkness of the mist, like beguiling corpse candles over sucking marshland. Don't look at them, warned Lucian. His warning came too late for one man and his wife. Misfortune didn't know their names, but knew they had lost a son to ocean ague less than a year ago. They walked from the cliffs following a vision in the lights only they could see. Another man took his hooked hand to his throat before his friends could stop him. Another simply vanished into the mist without anyone seeing him go. By the time they reached Serpent Bridge, their company numbered less than a dozen. Misfortune couldn't feel sorry for them. She told them not to come with her. If they wanted to live forever, they should be shuttered behind closed doors and protected carvings, clutching spiraled talismans of the bearded lady and praying to whatever gave them solace. But against the harrowing, even that was no guarantee of safety. They'd passed countless homes smashed open with splintered shutters and doors hanging limply from leather hinges. Misfortune kept her eyes fixed forward, but it was impossible not to feel the accusing gazes from the frozen faces within or sense the terror of their last moments. "The Black Mist will have its due," said Raffen as they passed yet another charnel house, the families within cold and dead. She wanted to be angry at such acceptance of horror, but what good would that do? After all, he was right. Instead, she focused on the hazed outline of the structure across the bridge. It sat in the centre of a gouged crater in the cliff, as if some mighty sea creature had taken a vast bite from the rock. Like most places in Bilgewater, it was constructed from the ocean's leavings. Its walls were driftwood and branches from faraway lands. Its windows the scavenged remains of ships swept up from the seabed. It had a peculiar quality of possessing not a single straight line anywhere in its construction. The curious angles gave it sense of being somehow in motion, as if it might one day choose another place to set down temporary roots. Its spire was likewise crooked, fluttered like the horn of a narwhal and topped with the same spiral symbol Misfortune wore around her neck. A shimmering light wreathed the icon, and where it shone, the darkness was held in abeyance. "What is that place?" asked Lucian. "The Temple of the Bearded Lady," she said. "The house of Nagakaboros."
Okay.
"Is it safe?" "It's better than staying out here." Lucian nodded and they set off
Nagakaboros.
across the winding length of the bridge. Like the temple it approached, the bridge was an uneven thing, its cobbles undulant like something alive. Raffen paused at the crumbling parapet and looked down. "Getting higher every year," he said. Reluctantly, Misfortune joined him and looked over the edge. The docks in Rat Town was smothered beneath the black mist, and even the web of Gondolas was barely visible. Bilgewater was choking in the grip of the mist, its tendrils seeping ever deeper into the city. Screams of terror drifted upwards, each one a life ended and a fresh soul for the Legion of the Dead. Raffen shrugged. "A few years from now, there won't be anywhere in Bilgewater beyond its reach. A lot can happen in..."
I really wonder how they're gonna play this out in the MMORPG. They're definitely gonna have the harrowing during Halloween. Like all the MMORPGs have like events during certain times of the year. I wonder how they're gonna do it in the MMO with Bilgewater and have the harrowing. That could actually be interesting.
"In a few years," said Misfortune. "This happens
Maybe like
every
world
year."
bosses, Hecarim, Thresh as world bosses coming in.
With a reckless disregard for the
Viego.
drop. Misfortune nodded. "Excellent," said the Freljordian. "If I am fated not to die this night, I will return here when the black mist rises again." "It's your funeral,"
Good.
said Raffen. "Thank you," said Olaf,
Yeah.
slapping an enormous palm on Raffen's back, almost knocking him from the bridge. The Freljordian's eyes widened as a host of ghostly tentacles rose from the mist.
My funeral?
Uncoiling,
Nice.
slashed down on
Let's
the
go.
dwellings of Rat Town. "The beast!"
Oh
he
god.
cried. And before anyone could stop him, he vaulted onto the parapet and hurled himself from the edge. "Mad bastard," said Raffen as Olaf's dwindling form vanished into the mist below.
What?
"All the ice dwellers are mad," said Misfortune, "but he was madder than most I've met." "Get everyone inside," said Lucian. She heard the urgency in his voice and turned to see him facing a towering figure in stitched black robes hung with hooked chains.
Oh, he found him.
Sickly green light wreathed the spectre as it
Short-term events, bosses gear you can get, and a little story to play. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. Yeah, but I want the boss to be released. So like, I don't think in the MMO you're gonna be able to meet all of the champions in game, or if you do, it would be through either timed events or like maybe like sometime quest giver or whatever, or like you helped some of them, but there's no way you can meet all of them except for stuff like during Halloween you're gonna meet Hecarim and Thresh and Viego and stuff like that. You don't have to meet them all the time. Viego honestly can be just a raid boss in Shadow Isles, really, but like Hecarim, Thresh, they don't really have to be. They can be like timed stuff, you know. To make the event even more appealing for people to do, you would want to bring these champions there, you know? Stuff like that. Like, what do you call it? What's it? Like during Christmas, they would have Santa Brown, you know? Shit like that. You don't have to have Brown them all the time. What does Brown do in the world, really, except sit there and feed poros. You can have him during the Christmas event, though, as Santa Brown.
Lifted a swaying lantern in one pallid hand.
Or something like that.
Fear touched Misfortune. Fear like nothing she'd known since she watched her mother die and stared down the barrel of the killer's gun.
Yep.
Lucian drew his pistols. Thresher's mine. He's all yours, she said, and turned away. Her gaze was drawn upwards as shadows closed around the temple. The breath caught in her throat as she saw Hecarim and his Death Knights at the crater's edge. The shadow of war raised his fiery glaive, and the ghostly horsemen urged their hell steeds down.
It's a long-ass night for these guys.
No mortal rider could make that descent.
Nope.
These were riders of death. Run! Shouted Misfortune.
Such a much better story than Arcane already. It's like everything is. Okay, alright. Good. That was it. Nice.